G'day Whovians, and welcome to a brand new episode of Who Review. Today I'm going to be discussing the brand new episode that seems to have divided the Doctor Who fandom, and it is called Dot and Bubble. Before I jump into this review, make sure that you do leave a like down below and subscribe so that way you don't miss a brand new episode of Who Review every single week. And as usual, spoilers.
Spoilers.
So, Dot and Bubble. Where do I even begin talking about this story? I was originally very nervous about this story because it was described as another very Doctor Light episode. However, I didn't really think that this was the case. I wouldn't count this as a Doctor Light story. Yeah, he wasn't in it a lot. However, I thought that he was in this episode a lot more than he appeared in 73 Yards. Now, the overall concept of this story I thought was really, really good. I liked the idea of this story. But was it executed well? I don't really know. The overall story felt really rushed, and the pacing was a bit all over the place. The focus on social media and people's addiction to social media was obvious. However, I did think that it was handled really, really well in this story. I thought it was actually interesting to see the portrayal of addiction. The monsters themselves I thought were really great. They looked amazing, and to me, they felt like a genuine threat to the people of Fine Time, which, is good, but also not so good. Because, I don't know, to me, I felt like this story wasn't great, so it felt like a waste of such good monsters. Now, as much as I would have loved to have seen more of the Doctor and Ruby in this story, I thought that their involvement and how the story handled that was really clever and really well done. The main character, Lindy, was not great, slightly annoying at times. I didn't really care for this character. She was extremely unlikable, especially at the end of the story, but I'll get to that. As for the supporting characters of this story, the majority of them felt like, just over the top and really annoying, but I really think that was the point. Sort of over the top social media influencers, and if that was the point, then great, they nailed it. But if not, then the supporting characters just made me cringe and were really unlikable. Susan Twist as Lindy's mother was a nice little tidbit in this story, and the Doctor and Ruby both recognised her this time, which I thought was really, really interesting. And, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the series and to the truth of who Susan Twist actually is. As I mentioned before about the pacing of the story, the ending was no different. The ending just felt really, really rushed. And at the end of the story as well, we finally got to see the Doctor in his sort of brown suited costume with the orange shirt, and this costume I love. I think it looks amazing. And I really wish, as much as I do love seeing the Doctor in a new costume each episode, and he's had some fantastic costumes this series already, I really wish we didn't get a new costume every episode, because this costume that we got in this story, I think just suits him perfectly. It looks so good on Ncuti. The ending was a huge curveball for sure. The entire subplot of racism was something that didn't click for me until the final moments of the story. Don't get me wrong, throughout the story I had my suspicions that maybe there was some sort of play with race going on here, such as the lack of people of colour in Fine Time, but I didn't think too much of it as the story went on. I didn't focus too much on that. But my suspicions were quickly confirmed, and I sort of had a moment where I was like, I knew it. It turns out that Lindy is a horrible human being, and she is completely racist, and yeah, everything started to make sense. However, in this moment, Ncuti's performance was fantastic. And I have seen online with people saying that this was his first sort of scene that he filmed after the giggle, and if so, this is such an incredible performance of his first sort of time playing the Doctor in his own era. I think that his performance in this scene alone was phenomenal, and he every week he is just proving that he's such a fantastic actor and such a great Doctor. And like I said, his performance in this scene was, it was amazing. Dot and Bubble is a story that I think is definitely going to divide fans on whether they like it or not. For me, I'm not 100% sold. I'm still not sure. I think this is definitely one of those stories that requires a rewatch. Nevertheless, Dot and Bubble is a strange story that focuses heavily on social media addiction and racism within society. With some really cool monsters and some slightly over-the-top performances, this is a story that, as I mentioned, will divide the Whoniverse. Dot and Bubble, 6 out of 10. I didn't love this story, it was very average for me. I'm giving it a 6 because of Shooty's performance at the end. Like I said, I think he was phenomenal. Next week we have Rogue, our period story that Ruby describes as so Bridgerton. I'm really excited for this story. It looks fantastic as well based on the Next Time trailer and the photos that I've seen. Yeah, I love a historical story in Doctor Who, so I'm very excited for this one. But what did you think of Dot and Bubble? Let me know in the comments down below.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Whovian Commonly YouTube channel. Cool.